Mia Simone from PG County, Maryland. What first pulled me into visual art is actually, it's funny, a music video by My Chemical Romance called Helena. I saw it when I was about, I think I was like 11, 12, and the colors of it and the performance in it, it just did something that made me like really go down a rabbit hole when it came to like music videos and stuff. So after that in high school, I used to take my mom's little point and shoot camera and like just do my own like little films and stuff. And I shot a music video for my friends actually. It was a little love story that we did over one of the Chance the Rapper songs. And I edited it on Windows Movie Maker and everything. And it's just, I've loved it ever since, like films and movies and storytelling, with visuals and with colors. Like it's just never stopped after that. Actually, not necessarily, because even though like I grew up in PG County, like I'm a military kid, so I was born in a different state and then I moved over here when I was in like first grade. And like, I grew up around Marlow Heights, I grew up around Friendly, then I went to Bowie. And even though like the culture definitely flows into like my vernacular and a little bit of my style and energy, because I think like I'm not necessarily like my roots aren't from here. Like I always go to Virginia. From my dad's side, I always go to Cali and all this other stuff. I think my style embodies more of like a general space instead of something that would be like culturally like instead of something that would be obviously like, oh, she's from the DMV. I think it's more of like a generalized like kind of a vibe. That makes sense. Ooh, creativity is a muscle. You just got to keep on working it out. It's a formula. A lot of times, like, what is it? It's like if you're inspired, right? If you're uninspired, read. You might have to just take in some content, take in some art, and just allow your brain to shift it, move things, give yourself parameters and allow it to suck. Like, say, you know what, I'm gonna make a song from the perspective of a robot. And then hold true to that and try, really try to push it out. And if you come up with the block, you might have to go like read a book, do some research, but you are a creative being. That's why you're even having the conversation of how do I stay inspired, right? Like, that's one thing I always remind myself, like, you are a creative being, right? So you just have to make sure the environment allows you to be creative and like take the pressure off, like, give yourself a prompt, and yeah, that's the best way I could say. Oh, and allow yourself to feel, because the emotions are the best place to find inspiration. Allow yourself to be so dramatic over that person who cut you off in traffic and pull from that energy that you feel. You'll never run out. As a visual artist and poet, genuinely just one person resonating with what I present, you know? Or even, well, actually, for poetry is a little different. For poetry, if I read it back and I feel like something in my heart space, I know it's successful, regardless of if anyone else can. A lot of times my poems are very much free flowing, like they just come from like a fifth dimensional download, like I'm just writing. But the thing about it is when it comes to certain situations that I transmute, like a song Daydream that I just did, no one else can say exactly how I feel other than me. So every time I hear certain pieces of it, it pulls on a piece of my heart where I feel like I'm connected to myself, or I'm heard, or I'm understood, even though it's my own like words. But I know it's successful when it actually pulls on like my heart space. And for visuals, it's like if just one person said that was dope, oh cool. Like, as long as I'm still inspired to keep trying. Anytime that I'm excited, like I know I'm still successful. Anytime anytime I see it and I even if I have a critique on it, I allow myself to say, you know what, this is what we can do better, and I'm excited to do better or try again. That's how I know I'm successful, because success isn't a destination, you know. Failure is when I start saying, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, now. Anytime I'm excited for a new project and I have the spark for visuals, I'm successful. That's how I look at that one.